Jonathan Ginobili, who's the junior minister who's responsible for justice within the Ministry of Justice, spoke just last week at a conference, the Civil Mediation Council conference, and he said, we promote mediation because it makes sense. And he went on to say, why get involved in an expensive, long-winded and often stressful litigious process and have your dispute decided by someone else, when you could remain in control and you can shape the outcome through mediation. And in a way that says it all. Particularly with the new government coming in, it's about personal responsibility. It's about people taking responsibility for their own disputes and not expecting someone else to sort it out for you. As we know, litigation can be painful, expensive, long drawn out. There's lots of cases which you can read of where the costs of the case dwarf the actual issue that you're dealing with. Another area I just want to touch on, because Mike alluded to it, is something what's called the ADR pledge, the Alternative Dispute Resolution Pledge. This was something that was introduced in 2001 under Lord Irving, when he was the Minister, the Lord Chancellor. And this was introduced for government departments to, as it were, put their own house in order. What's the point of us telling people to use alternative dispute resolution or mediation if we're not using it ourselves? So the Minister then, Lord Irving, got this pledge introduced for government departments to use ADR or mediation in suitable cases. And it's ticked on over the years, and I think adding kind of all the pledge reports, we produce a report every year, adding together those reports, there's an estimated £360 million has been saved over the kind of the next 7 or 8 years that we've been running that. Now we went to the Minister when the Conservative government came in, and Jonathan Ginobili, as I mentioned earlier, our Minister, was very keen on this but wanted it to go further. So we will be relaunching the pledge shortly. We've renamed it as the Dispute Resolution Commitment. Now, why are we changing its name? Well, why not? But it's a bit more than just a name change. I mean, we're getting rid of the word alternative because many people have kind of said that the reference to keep on referring to it as alternative dispute resolution suggests it's kind of a lesser thing. I know it's an alternative to the court process, but many people think it's a bit like alternative medicine or something like that. It's a secondary thing. And what we're trying to do is to put it much more in the mainstream. And I suppose dispute resolution, not just because I know firms solicitors have changed their litigation departments to dispute resolution. But what we're trying to get at is that you need to deal with a case right at the beginning. And the problem in the past, particularly in government, is it's just the lawyers that get involved. It's when a case is, as I say, it's on the track to go towards a court hearing or to a tribunal. You kind of come into it too late. And what we're trying to do is get government departments much more involved earlier on. I mean, a sign of that is like with employment disputes. Lots of government departments, like the Ministry of Justice itself, has appointed a group of workplace mediators, again in-house mediators, to try to nip problems in the bud at an earlier stage before you even go near a tribunal. So this is to try to develop that. We're calling it a commitment because we do want departments to be more proactive themselves, to actually be involved and resolve disputes. I also want it to evolve and influence actual government policy itself. So government policy making, so that when governments introduce new policies and people breach a policy or something like that, it doesn't just automatically go to court, but there's an alternative dispute resolution kind of mechanism built in for people who resolve disputes earlier. But anyway, Jonathan Ginobili said that that's fine, that's all very well dealing with government, but we want to go further, and this is where it kind of brings in you. We want to extend to local government if we can, but we also want to do something for business. We believe there's real benefits for business signing up to a pledge. Now we're not looking here at a government-led business pledge. We're looking kind of at a business-led business pledge. We've been working with the CBI, the Federation of Small Businesses, the British Chambers of Commerce, and interested in the Association of Chartered Accountants. And what I found particularly encouraging from talking to Association of Chartered Accountants is the accountants that are in the lead in business. It's not the lawyers. I mentioned earlier that as far as government's concerned, it's always dealt with through Treasury solicitors, through the lawyers. But as far as business is concerned, it's the accountants because, your perspective may be different, I don't know, but it's a financial decision very often, as much as it's about issues of right or wrong or justice. It's what makes good economic financial sense. So we're looking to build on that. So we're working with these different stakeholders. We're working with BIS, which was DTI, we never know what to call these things, business innovation and skills. So our ministers are meeting with their ministers to try to develop something.